Well, hello, everybody. Hi. Hello, and happy Sunday to my fellow sensitive people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Sunday, April 18th at 11:01 a.m. here in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. And just for you, I put on lipstick. But alas, no scarf. It's just it's the summer. People say, where'd the scarf go? The scarf is for the winter. I do sometimes go with the lighter scarves. But yeah, that's the story with the scarves. We are warm here in beautiful late April. But before we get started with the show, let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. It's 2:01 in Quebec, so we're ready to party. Woohoo! Hi, Melinda Ducher. Good to see you. And yes, I did read your question. All good questions. If we have time, we'll get read. Welcome, B. Butler. She is a fairy and an angel. What do you think? Do you think we should do a slumber party? What do you think? Tonight's Sunday night. Do people want to do something special for Sunday night? I don't know. Maybe we should do like a public slumber party. What do you think? I don't know what's going on. I'll let people decide if y'all want to hang out tonight as well. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. Hi, Kay Gillette. Good to see you. Hi, Exida. Hello. Pamela Doss is in the house. Welcome. Exida Smith, welcome. Ooh, I love coffee too. I made myself some Pete's coffee and I totally enjoyed it. Marie Wells, welcome. My computer can't find this video. Interesting. Hello, Birdsong. Thank you for the pretty decorations. I like very much the decorations you just put there. All right. How is everyone? Thank you, Pierre Walker, for being our moderator extraordinaire. So everybody got to give kudos to Pierre Walker. Thank you. Well, boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So first off, gratitude to everybody who's been sending gifts, cards, etc. Wow, I really appreciate all the love. I do read all the cards. I'm not always able to respond to every card, but I just want people to know I'm very grateful. First things first, I want to give a special shout out to the artist Finch out of San Francisco. I was talking to a friend of mine, Mark Rhodes. He's a publicist for Finch. And I actually did a remote view, and it was weird. I saw the Finch. I had a vision of the Finch bears with masks saying that they had been vaccinated. And you know, the rule when you get a remote view is you have to share the remote view, right? I've been in some really horrible ethical situations, by the way, where it's like, should I tell the person? But Mark's a good friend. So I said, Mark, I think you need to contact public health because I think public health needs the bears to get the vaccine word out. I think we need to get that honey bear vaccinated. So I have a new gift from Finch. Is this not the cutest? FNNCH is how you spell Finch's name. Look at this. It's an N95. So yes, it actually happened. I had the remote. You deliver the remote, right? Is this not funny how remote viewing works? So I said, okay, well, obviously Spirit wants me to tell him that somebody in public health is needs to make contact. So anyway, so he contacted public health. And a very lovely woman contacted him and said, yes, basically, you are who we've been looking for. And, oh, you're the woman that I must supposedly be looking for, too, because of Whimsy's remote. So it was kind of cool to, this is the kind of fun stuff, those of you who are becoming remote viewers. Isn't it fun? You just bring people together to make the world a better place. So thank you, Finch. Thank you for helping make the world a safer place. And thank you, Mark Rhodes, for graciously working with that as well. Lives will be saved, and that's a pretty amazing thing. All right, so there's that. The other thing I want to give gratitude to is this beautiful harp. There's a harp player, Strings of Light. You know, it's interesting. The harp is my favorite instrument. And I always imagined as a child, I always wanted to learn the harp. But the harp is kind of intimidating, particularly the large harps. But anyway, Christina Ivana, she has a master's. And she, if you want to check out her music, Christina Ivana, harpist, she's out of Colorado, but Strings of Light, check it out. I'm definitely going to listen to it because I'm always looking for beautiful music to meditate on. And there are also some really great information she sent about her work, etc. So thank you, and I will definitely listen to it. Thank you also to the person who sent 2 large Hershey's chocolate bars. I have a request that people not send me don't send me chocolate unless you want me to eat it. And if I eat it, that's a problem because I'm trying to lose my weight here. Yes, I plowed through 2/3 of the milk chocolate with almond, and then I tried to stop myself, so I put it in the freezer. But then when I put it in the freezer, I realized I had another large dark chocolate, which is my favorite, and so I felt morally responsible not to ignore it. So I took that large family size dark chocolate and proceeded to eat half of it. So then I felt like they were more balanced. I don't know if I did right or not, but all right. Thank you so much for the wonderful donation, Impish Artist. Okay, let's talk politics. Now, I know y'all want to have fun, and I am totally in agreement with you. I mean, it's just become Debbie Downer lately. What do you think? I think we are all so sick of politics, of COVID. We want to have fun. We want to be light. Now, I've been asked by a lot of people if I could go down, do some remote viewing, and please tell people why it's just so tense and uptight, and people are ready to scream and fight, etc. Well, that's probably a sign that you're healthy, because when you go into the remotes, when you meditate and you try to connect with other people in the meditative state into the world, if you scan the world and you really try to connect with others, what you see is that we have an abundance of energy, and specifically it's the energy of work. Remember how I had said that the last 2 weeks of April going into May, everything picks up and we start to enter into a time period of just rapid, accelerated growth, work, etc., and that this will continue on for several years. High productivity, everything up and running, chugga, 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 right? Well, last week, they already announced for the month of April, 135,000 people got off unemployment. 135,000 people got off unemployment. So I was looking at jobs with the federal government because they were opening up the 1.9 trillion and all government agencies are hiring. It was kind of cool. So I put the jobs, USA federal jobs link in my community page, and they had some really fun jobs. The forestry is hiring in all 50 states. And I always thought when I was younger, that would be something I would be totally open to. I would be totally open to working with the Army Corps of Engineers, helping with the drainage and cleaning up those public lands. And I know also transportation is hiring a ton. They're redoing Amtrak. Can you believe it? The entire rail system in the United States has to be overhauled in less than 9 years. Ay, boy, who wants to take that project on? 30 billion released to help fund people who need childcare. So if you are in childcare and you'd like to get a job, plenty of childcare jobs opening up as well. So fun times. The job report, that's a good question. The job report, Terry, who is well on her way to becoming a pretty powerful remote viewer herself. I'm always impressed by Terry's work. I think that the stocks are inflated. I listen quite a bit to the man, Michael, I can't remember his last name, Dr. Michael, whatever. He was involved in, he was the person that was investing during the housing crisis. So he is very concerned about both the housing and the stock market being too inflated. I tell people to diversify. I'm not really giving financial advice. I'm concerned that things seem a little inflated just with what I understand about the stock market. If you look at PE ratios, etc. But yeah, there's definitely work. We don't have a lack of work. Hi, Michelle. I missed you too, and thank you so much for that kind donation. Hi, Daphne Barry. Thank you so much for that kind donation. Well, so the work is up and coming. I know a lot of people were stressed out. They were looking for work. Take heart, like I said, definitely by May, anybody that wants a job can have a job. But I think even as soon as next week because of just how the rollout happened and how they're releasing the funds. And I think that they're releasing the funds in the right way. They're releasing mostly childcare and education funds. We're going to see a lot of accelerated classes being offered in the summer for students that feel like they didn't get it the first time. I think that's a great idea. If you want to teach this summer, again, plenty of work available. All right. Any questions about that remote and about that energy and that angst you're feeling? You got to get out there and start moving, because it's it's that irritating feeling of the Gaia, the universe, the earth is like, get up. Come on now. Come on, Pier Walker. Come on, Greeter TK. Come on, Cardomancy. Let's go. Yalla. It's that kind of a feeling, right? And so it's the sun is blinding. Go. We've got work to do. It's like now that everybody's awakened, right? Now that everybody is connected with Gaia, her voice is louder than ever. Time to plant those peaches. Time to go. Her voice, now that we've opened ourselves up to her, is very... She wants us planting. She wants us making babies. Go make them babies for me. Go plant them trees, right? So I think that's what we're feeling. All right. So on that note, good news, as you all know, apricots, plant them and mail them to me. Marcus O'Toole is always planting beautiful things. And he sent me some of his plums not too long ago. Delish. They were spicy. Hi, Susan Lynn. Good to see you. Hi, Douglas. Thank you so much for helping out today. So, speaking of the environment, as everybody knows, April 22nd. Woohoo! What happens April 22nd? It is Earth Day. Yay, Earth Day. And what are we all invested in? We're invested in saving the planet, right? We're invested in Gaia, right? So the good news is that the US-China summit is happening Friday, April 22nd. It's really great because John Kerry is now working with Xi of China. And is this not good news? Is this not a pick-me-up for those of you who are thinking you're going to start your day, it's Sunday, you're going to listen to some Whimsy, the Oracle of Whimsy, you're going to get into a great place, and then you're going to go out and plant, or you're going to go out and volunteer at a local park somewhere, removing invasive weeds. We are all called to do the work, right? We got to be about our business, helping the planet. So it's good news. Finally, we have the United States and China on the same page that they are going to begin to move towards creating a green economy. The two biggest polluters are China and the United States. So how exciting is that we get to participate and live through a time when we witness the healing of the world and humanity coming together to save Gaia. We got to live to see this. So amazing. Oh, there was a devastating fire in Cape Town, South Africa. So yeah, we will send loving energy. Absolutely. Thank you, Tabsy Grouse, for that donation. I appreciate it. All right, the next remote view involves Alexi Navalny. This is something that I'm really starting to get a little concerned about. As many of you know, Alexi Navalny returned back to Russia after he had broken his probation by going outside of Russia to get medical attention. He recovered, but then he returned back to Russia where he was arrested. He's now imprisoned in a rather gruesome prison. According to doctors, they're reporting that he has kidney damage and because of that, a risk of heart failure. So it puts additional pressure on Putin to step up to the plate and do the right thing, particularly now that he's agreed to a summit with Biden. So again, it'll be interesting to see how that plays itself out. Thank you, Leslie, for that donation. It's very kind. I think we should throw on it. I can tell you, based on the remotes that I've done in the past, that Putin is very similar to North Korea in the sense that there's this feeling of frustration, like America and the West always win. America and the West always win. This is the frustration of Putin, and this is also the frustration of Joe Jong. Joe Jong, is that her name? Kim Jo Jong, why she hates the United States, doesn't trust them. Same thing. She fears or feels that you can never get ahead with the United States, that they always win. Last remote I did was on UFO drones that were seen over the United States a couple of years ago, and the US says that they don't know who they are. It looks like possibly Russian drones. Nobody's manning them. They're electronic. So you have the larger dome and then experimenting with smaller drones coming out of the larger drone. That crazy UFO stuff people were seeing, that was just drone experiments. But it's very scary. Say you go to war and you send one of these massive drones to a location, and then it opens up and then releases all these drones that are programmed to attack targets. You see how terrifying it is? I almost wish it was a UFO. I almost wish it was aliens. But what the concern is from a political perspective in terms of safety and just globally, the concern is that these Star Wars drones that can reach these incredibly high speeds and high levels could theoretically be turned into, they can hold nuclear weapons. That's the concern, that we could be seeing advanced weaponry high in space where it's hard for us to secure our safety because it's a space war. So it sounds funny to talk about, a space force, etc. People made a lot of jokes about it, but it was because of this increasing technology that we're seeing from Russia, etc., into drones, and concerns that drones and satellites will be turned into nuclear weapons, basically. So it's another thing for us to have to sit down at the summit with Putin. The level of fear that you see in North Korea and Russia is pretty palpable when you think about how much money they have spent simply to be able to threaten the United States. So there you have it. I I don't think it's aliens. I think it's us and Russia competing for a drone technology and space wars, basically. Hi, Eileen and Richard. Thank you so much for the tea. I'm still enjoying it. Are we ready for the collective, or does anybody else have any questions? We will look at Navalny, absolutely. Everybody's questions we'll look at. But let's go ahead and we're going to is everybody ready for the collective? The collective reading is starting at 11:21. I don't know how to timestamp. People say, could you use timestamp? I would love to timestamp. I don't know how to do it. So if anyone knows how, let me know. All right. We're going to do the empath's prayer, and then we'll give the collective. Sound good? All right. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the planet, for the people we love, but also to help those we may have strife with. And together we say, Amen. Let's go in. What is going on with us? What do we need to know for the week? All right, what we need to know for the week is good stars. So I think overall for us, it's going to be a good week. We have a nice star moving in, and we have the lovers coming in. So open yourself up to new possibilities. Open yourself up to new possibilities in love. Lovers is also how we look towards God and spirit. It's a card that denotes our connection to our higher self, or the Wahi Guru, the part of us that is divine love. But it's also a card that denotes our ability to experience intimacy or sacred space with another person. It's all about the sacred space, and that comes with safety. Safety is the word that Spirit has been bringing to me recently to share with the group. This is something I've been abiding with for a while, this idea of safety. You cannot create a sacred space between yourself and another human being so long as you are not safe. The Lover's card is about safety, to be fully yourself and to allow the divine to hold the space for the divine. Both people are naked. They have nothing to hide. They have no shame. They're completely open to one another. And so they're allowing the space of the divine to exist between them because there's no shame and there's no hiding. But that can only exist with safety, which brings us to the issue of forgiveness. We've talked a lot about forgiveness in this community and how I think that it's really kind of unnecessary to even focus on forgiveness when I look at it from the perspective of the natural order. From the perspective of the natural order, you're either safe or you're not. And if somebody puts you in a position where you're not safe, you have a right to get yourself to safety. If that same individual is threatening the safety of other people, the logical thing to do is to first get yourself to safety, warn others, file a police report if necessary. This is objectively what we're supposed to do when we don't feel safe. So Lover's card is all about love and divine love, but we mustn't forget that that cannot exist without safety. So when someone breaks that sacred contract by creating an environment that is no longer safe, the question isn't a question of forgiveness. The question is, can the relationship heal and repair when somebody has betrayed the sacred space by making it unsafe? Does everybody get this? So the deeper question, other than that's deeper than forgiveness, is, have I created a safe space for the people I care about? Do they feel safe to be their authentic self when they're around me? And do I feel safe to be my authentic self when I am around them? Am I creating a safe space for myself? Am I creating a safe space for others? Forgiving or letting it go when someone remains a threat to the community is illogical. The fear and the anger that a person is experiencing is a healthy response to having themselves be threatened. And they will continue to have anger and fear so long as the threat is real. And so the solution, if you really want to forgive, is to remove the threat and to create a safe space. But there are different ways that we do that depending upon what kind of betrayal it was, what we're having trouble with. Getting to safety and determining whether or not you can ever feel safe again with that individual is really at the fundamental core of sacred spaces. Sacred spaces are always, by default, safe spaces. Where we are at right now, the King of Swords, who comes as the Ice King to teach us about boundaries. He is precise. He has a sword that often cuts and severs surgeons, military persons. He is often get this card, blue ice is his robe. So he's often called the Ice King. This is kind of a card. This is a card that often comes in when they tell people to be able to stand back and look at something without any kind of emotional attachment. I like the fact that we had two major arcana cards here for our future, both a star to receive blessings and good. It's a good omen. It's a good blessing for the community, but lovers and sacred spaces coming up really strongly for us. The Hanged Man coming in. Now we have 3 out of 4 major arcana for our cards. The ability to let things go. The ability to let things go is more important, again, than this idea of forgiveness. But letting things go when we don't have justice absolute or safety for ourselves and others is simply not possible. What is above us? The ability, the desire to be wholehearted, right? The desire to be wholehearted, to be the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is the Queen of Hearts. She's also the bride. She dresses in a white dress to often denote the bride. What sits below? A celebration. See, I think it's spring and everybody wants love and romance because that's what you do in the springtime. You connect with somebody else, you fall in love, you have a little romance. But it's so interesting that they're talking here about safety, 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 and concerns about betrayal. The need to defend someone's territory. A feeling that many people have gone as far as they can. If you're in a relationship right now with somebody who you feel can never create sacred space between yourself and them, you may be contemplating whether or not to leave the relationship, or feeling like you no longer have the emotional or physical energy left to try and maintain relationships with people that don't want to share the work. And so there's a karmic wheel here. If another person cannot be an equal partner with a goal of creating a safe, sacred space, the relationships must end. And unfortunately, this means for many people in the group that they really have done everything they could to save and protect some of these relationships. But I do think some of them will come to an end. You can see here also in the 7th house, defending one's own territory, 7 of Wands, against multiple attacks. There is a tremendous amount of creative and positive energy in this group. There's also unbelievable energy in terms of intellectual curiosity, hermit, but there's also an aspect of a desire to go off alone to seek wisdom. And then here again, 3 of Wands. A lot of us, see, this is like the nomad land. It's like everybody wants to get in a car and go. But it's not just go. They want to get away from environments where they feel like they have to defend their space all the time. It's also a fertile time, new beginnings, spring, fertility, time of education and knowledge. So that is basically the collective reading for the group. A lot of people trying to make connections, a lot of people falling in love, but a lot of people also putting old relationships aside where they now accept that maybe the relationship is never going to be what they needed it to be. And that's different than forgiveness. That's resolution. It's accepting that it's never going to happen and being able to move on, because there are people in this world that get it. There are people in this world that understand what creating a safe space is about and how important trust is. And those are the people that we need to be focusing our attention on. But more deep than all of this, with lovers as the base of the matter, is what can we all do to be safe partners and friends to those that we know and we have relationships with? Are we a safe person? That's the reading. That's the message. How can you be safe? How can you be a safe person for others? Are you the person that people call and say, I know that he, she, they won't tell my secrets. I trust them with my life. I know that this person is a safe person. Yeah, it's so interesting. Safety. People say, well, how can I connect with the divine better? This is part of the 5-step technique, right? You can't say, for example, you want to get close to God, but you have to find a safe space to do it. So you find a church and you're thinking, okay, well, the church will be a safe space, because the first rule of the holy of a holy space is it has to be a safe space. There can't be any predation there, right? Whether it's a Buddhist temple or it's a Hindu ashram or a Christian church, synagogue, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is rule number 1 is safety. You can't have the sacred without safety. It's the ultimate violation, right? So that's why when we do heart-centered HCRV, we always talk about safety first. Is your immediate environment safe? If it's not, then that's a problem. Hi, Margaret Hunt. Thank you so much for that donation. That's very kind. I already thanked Eileen Arisha. Thank you so much. So what do you think about all that? Safety first. Yeah, Connie, move away. You know, or as Marianne Williamson says, love them from a distance, right? Sometimes some people need to be loved from a distance. But I don't think we need to talk about forgiveness if the person is out committing crimes and harming other people. That's not a rational reaction. You got to take extra beer with you if you go with a Baptist preacher, because they like to, I didn't know that. Well, a lot of people like beer. I like beer. We have some of the best beer in the world, I think, in Portland, Oregon. We have some amazing breweries here in Oregon. Yeah, so it's an ultimate betrayal, right? So if something happens in the mosque or the temple or the synagogue or the church, particularly if a cleric abuses somebody, it's the ultimate violation, because the most sacred thing, the first priority for a sacred space is safety. And if you have failed to do that, then it's not a sacred space. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the blitzes now. Everybody ready for blitzes? Blitzes start at 11:35. All right, so the first question we got had to do with whether or not Navalny is going to be okay. As many people know, the doctors are saying that Navalny is experiencing kidney failure, and people are really worried about him. So let's go take a look at the future of Navalny. We'll do 4 cards. They're trying to get healthcare providers in. I know he does not want Russian doctors. He doesn't trust them. Poverty card. Not good. Possibly not getting the help he needs. It's very serious, his health. It's very serious. They want him taken out. As part of the negotiation with Russia, Putin may agree to allow him to be transferred outside of Russia for medical care, because you can see here a Knight of Wands moving in and an Ace of Wands. Putin could be one of those people that releases him after he's dead or after he's brain dead, which is what happened to the student in North Korea. My concern is because his health is so serious, by the time he's released or by the time he's receiving medical attention, they may do it in such a way where it's too late. The clarification. Biden is watching the situation very, very closely. It's a problem. It's a serious problem of whether or not there's some real horror here that they're not able to get help to him right away. It will not bode well for, look, people know what Putin's trying to do. He'll wait until this individual is definitely going to die, then release him and say, hey, I released him. It's a feeling here that Putin is really testing the West. I would, if it were me and I were giving advice to Putin, I would do everything in my power to save Navalny's life, because it will not go well for Putin if he lets this happen. Because if he lets this happen, the entire international community is going to be outraged. And if he wants back into the G8, he wants it to be the G8 again, this is not the way to get there. So he should be very concerned about Navalny's health. The clarification. There are going to be long-term consequences if this guy is not given medical attention right away. You can see here the karma card, stressing the doctors, the people that care about Navalny. They're freaking out. This is the time up. He's got to get some help now. You can see right now Biden and his people arguing and discussing what to do. They honestly don't know what to do about the situation, but they're very concerned and they're watching it very, very closely. There is a 10 of Cups coming out with the Hermit card. They're trying to be very judicious. They're trying to be very calm, but this is a very delicate situation, but they're very, very proactive about trying to make sure this guy's going to be okay. There's still hope he can be saved, but this has to happen literally in the next 72 hours, 4 days maximum. He needs to be given help, like quickly, or he won't be around. So it's touch and go, but I would strongly discourage Putin from not agreeing to this, because people in Europe are even more angry than people in the United States based on what I'm seeing. There are people in Europe that want him tried. They want him arrested, and they want Putin tried for crimes against humanity. They want him tried for all kinds of things. So he's on thin ice with Europe. So the fact that he wants to get into the G8 after, if this happens, he's really shooting himself in the foot. That's what I think. Any questions about that? I don't think he's already dead, but I think that he's in bad. It's not good. Oh, I hope it's not buffering. I have it on the high speed, so it should be fine. I don't know. What do y'all think? Thank you, Carol. Oh, a big hug to you too, and thank you for that generous donation. So this is the question that I wanted to ask, and I'm glad that Connie Brown mentions it. She writes, he will be charged for crimes against humanity under the Hague. You know, I'd like to see that. I'd like. I know people thought that I liked Putin because I did maybe 10 remote views on him. So everyone's like, "You love Putin too much." I was like, "No, I'm just doing my job. It's just what I do, is to put myself in the shoes of another. It's kind of how we do it here." Whoops. Try to get that. All right. So let's see about Putin, and if Putin's going to be charged. Will Putin be charged? Will Putin be charged in The Hague for crimes against humanity? Oh, they want to charge him for what he did in Syria. I'm getting the download. Oh, Europe, Germany, etc., has been building a case against Putin and Assad because of crimes against humanity, because of testimonies that were taken by eyewitnesses in Syria. They have testimonies. That's what happened. Okay, let's take a look. So that's what's going on. He's under investigation for crimes against humanity with the Syrian refugees. Syrian refugees are claiming that they've been gassed by Assad, they've been bombed by Russia, and there are prosecutors in Europe that think that these individuals should face international courts. I don't know what to say about it. It's just too horrible. Yeah, the prosecutors are dead serious. These are international war crimes. They have to be tried. That they're serious. They were able to catch him with money exchanges. They were able to build a case. What they did is they did follow the money. It was an international effort. It wasn't just the United States was losing money. The entire world was losing money. But they did. They followed the money back to the original. Evidence. Yeah, see, this feels like You don't get to act like this. That is what the prosecutors in Europe are saying. You don't get to commit crimes against humanity. You don't get to do the things that just because they waited, just because Putin and Assad were not prosecuted up to this point, doesn't mean there are not prosecutors and people in Europe building really strong cases against these individuals and calling on international pressure to see them prosecuted. This is a very serious investigation. There's one of the lead prosecutors coming in, somebody that has to do with the international courts. And I see things being taped and I see translations. And that's what we had in The Hague. And that's also what we had when Mengele was tried in Israel. And this is starting to look like that. Mountains of evidence against multiple people. This is starting to look a lot like the Nuremberg trials. I think that there are people that will testify. I think it's going to, you know what, it reminds me also of what happened in Bosnia, Serbia. There's going to have to be some financial retribution as well. They're going to have to pay. You can see evidence brought against them. Also, this is sobriety or sober. It's a very sober type of energy against them. The sword of truth, Archangel Michael, and there's some guy coming in showing evidence, and he's dead serious. Here again, you can see mountains of evidence being presented, and something about the movement of money, crimes, etc. And then here, lovers' negotiations possibly would involve testimonies or people cooperating, and then the Chariot, the final outcome or the base of the matter for Putin is 10 of Swords. His own people will betray him because he made too many enemies. And he made enemies with oligarchs. He made enemies with people like Navalny. There are people very wealthy who are colleagues of Putin who like Navalny and didn't approve of what Putin did. His greed, Putin's greed, and the way he handled this, 10 of Swords, I would not be surprised if Putin died in prison with these cards. Wow. A lot of evidence against him and Assad. They want, from what I could see there, it looked like they wanted charges against Assad as well. My mind didn't go to Syria. It should have gone to Syria, but it didn't. I was like, what about us Americans? You Americans can do whatever you want to do about what he did to you in America. He did something similar to us in Europe. The real evidence, the real crimes that he's facing have to do with his actions with Assad. And it looks to be there looks to be solid evidence. Thank you so much, Pansy Flesher. That's really kind of you to do that, to donate. And welcome, Cher Bear, to Fairies and Angels. Good to see you here. So, dang. When you see what I'm saying? You see how serious this is? Because that guy, I don't know who this guy is. I think he looks like he's some mean, big tuchus prosecutor in The Hague. He's got evidence, and he's coming after the guy, and he knows about the gassing of the Syrians and that Assad gassed those children. This is taken very serious. This hasn't happened since the Holocaust. These people are coming for you. That's what I think. All right, so now the question has to do with people are very concerned about well, actually, I will throw on Murdoch now because we were going to go into international and we were going to talk about other countries, like the economy in Britain has been going through some stuff. Yeah, foggy. I think Putin's in a lot of trouble. You know, if you go back to the cards, what it said about Putin, or Biden, he's the King of Cups. He had a 5 of Wands there, which is right. Exchange of ideas, people heavy. They don't know what to do with him, but I can tell you, 10 of Swords is to be betrayed. It's to be stabbed in the back multiple times. If he does this to Navalny, he'll die in prison. People are being all nice with Putin. Putin is really pushing it with those cards. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, me, myself, and I. Thank you, Joanne. Yes, anybody who wants to send me an email can do so at whimsyanderson@gmail.com. No E in Whimsy. It's WHIMSY. All right, so I want to just look at whether or not Murdoch is going to face consequences for what he did. I think that Fox is going to turn into a green capitalist. The new Republican Party is all green capitalism because they're not. Look, they'll eventually save themselves, right? We think and we hope. But let's look at the future of Murdoch. 4 cards. We'll just do a quick blitz. Thank you, Michelle, for putting my email there. Yeah. Don't send me a bunch of mindless junk because I have students right now who send their homework and it really bogs me down. So thank you, Renee. Oh, and thank you, Renee. Renee sent me, thank you very much. Now, that's a different Renee. Thank you to the Renee who sent me the HEPA filters to make mask. I will never make mask, so I feel bad taking the HEPA filter. But I want to do. Renee, if you could text me to do lunch sometime maybe this week, and I can give you back the filters, and maybe we could find someone who, because I won't be making mask. I'm sorry, but thank you, Renee, for the filters. Okay, the future of Fox. Murdoch and Fox. Well, according to these cards, he was already charged. He already had some fine. He already had to pay a bunch of money. That's basically what the cards are saying. You can see here a 6 of Pentacles moving in. I think he already lost some lawsuits, and I already think he had to pay out a bunch of money. So that's the first thing they're saying. There's also fighting going on at Fox because nobody can figure out who's in charge. And you can see, I always get this 5 of Wands with a moon over Fox. We don't know what we're doing, so we'll just do more drugs and more alcohol, right? The lunatic, fighting lunatics. It's an insane asylum. Yeah, I think that they're coming after Murdoch. First, they came after him for his money. Now they're coming after him seriously. You can see this is like a federal raid, or this is a police activity. So the bigwigs faced a lot of financial problems, right? They will if you're not paying your taxes, if you're secretly getting together on yachts and remote islands, and operating as a second government, you can't really do that. I don't care how much money you have. You're really not allowed to basically take over a person's country and start to run things from the side, even if you think you would do a better job than our political system. And that's unfortunately what happened with Murdoch and his friends. They're running the world. They're running the world. I can tell you, oh my God, the lawsuits. Look how much money Fox is going to have to shell out. This is money, and this is the treasure trove, right? They're going to lose their lawsuit against. It looks like they're probably going to lose their lawsuit against the voting. You know, when they said that the vote was fake, the voting machines are going to lose with those cards. Yeah, the judge is not having it. Look at this. These lawsuits really did take out Fox News. It's pretty bad. They're pretty hysteric. By this summer, there's going to be so much evidence against Fox News that they will probably be facing a collapse from the financial implications. They're going to have to completely overhaul themselves. Yeah. So, hello, Renee. Okay, so the next, yeah, Fox did it to themselves. All right, so we have another question from Rose Bliss. Rose Bliss writes, shootings. Why and when will they stop? Boy, wouldn't we all like to know when all of these shootings will stop? People get out, they go to parties, they're young, usually young people. They have one too many beers. So that's why we see an increase in violence. Also, males tend to, it's mating season, spring, everybody's geared up, the hormones are doing whatever they're doing. So yeah, crime goes up in the spring and summer because there's more people out and about making trouble. But let's see about what Biden's going to do about the gun problem in the US. More strife, more problems, more people arguing back and forth. There's something about creating partnerships between gun owners. There's a partnership here, somebody walking away from a partnership, and then the final outcome is chariot, fast movement. Here's the thing. It looks like, based on these cards, that previous administrations, possibly even the Obama administration, attempted to work with gun enthusiasts, etc., in order to create laws that they would be comfortable with. That's over now. We can't go to the gun lobby and say, hey, would you help us create laws that curb gun violence? That was how it was in the past. You can see here with the cards that the partnership between the US and the gun lobby probably has to come to an end. You can see strife coming, 2 of wands for the partnership, strife for the partnership, walking away from the partnership, moving on. I think that things are going to change very, very rapidly. I think that Biden's feeling is that the progressives have wasted too much time. The liberals have wasted too much time. And as a result, people have died. And I think that what's happening is he's now moving towards creating stronger alliances with people who are actually opposed to gun violence. You can see here strife moving very quickly. By the time of April, the springtime, we get our wish regarding new alliances. The issue of grief, right? Walking away in grief from the old alliances, and then happy in the garden. Yeah, we're going to start creating very sane gun laws. And I think they're also going to be embraced by certain states, just because the problem is so severe. And I think that people are pretty disgusted with the gun lobby right now. Oh, thank you. I got this top when I was in Australia. It's really, really thin. It literally has no weight, and probably was popular in Australia because it's so hot there. So I like it because it literally has no weight. It's nice. All right, so we've hit the hour. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, be sure to share, like, subscribe, click the bell notification. I'm gonna take a little glass of water and take a little mini break. If you have to run to the restroom, that's cool. And we'll start up again with some blitzes in a second here. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Oh, come on, Elaine. Of course it will end. We're not going to have a civil war going on because the civil war is created. The people in charge want us to be in civil war. We need to stop being manipulated. But you're right about the police. We've got to change our policing. Oh my goodness. So, how's everybody doing? Everyone have a good weekend? I had a good weekend too. Thank you, Marie Henson, for that donation. Okay, so we're ready to start up again. If people want to start sharing their questions, we can go back to Blitz's. All right, so people had asked if I could look at the various different investigations and whether or not we'll be seeing a prosecution of 45 anytime soon. And why is it taking so long? Okay, we will do a quick throw on 45. I don't like to spend a lot of time on that guy, but I understand why people are frustrated. So let's go ahead. We'll do a quick throw to just check in on him and see what's going on with the investigation. I think Ormus is not real. I don't take it seriously. $45. Future of 45. All right, where Trump is at right now. His current situation, the sum of the reading, he's trying to come up with money. Look at that, 2 of Pentacles. He's taking money from Peter to pay Paul, and he's got big money coming. So he's working on some big money deals. He's looking at his former presidency being an opportunity to make more money. The Devil card. Codependent relationships, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy dynamics, drug and alcohol abuse, people leaving him. He has a possibility that his relationships are ending, possibly with his daughter, his wife, etc. People are walking away from a codependent relationship with him. He's losing support. What is above him? Mercy, right? The Charity card. What sits below him? Frugality. He's really, it's all about money with him. Money is a big part of, he associates his power with his money. Here come the courts. The courts have already started to subpoena documents and to request documents from him. And you know why? Because the courts are in the past placement. And here's the cooperation, right? So he has already, there's a lot going on privately that people don't know about. The feds are right on top of him with these cards. And then the near future is the evidence against him. There's nothing stopping the feds and the justice system from investigating him at this point. It's a lot of arguing about where to go with, here's the 8th house, hopes and fears, final outcome, Ace of Wands. He pulled double aces. Could indicate that he's going to be, he feels that he'll be able to put this aside within 6 months. He's got a victory card, negotiating, taking him into smoother waters, hopes and fears, strength, Knight of Pentacles, stopgap, Ace of Wands. I have to say that this is somebody who is like the cat with 9 lives. He thinks he's going to be able to slither out of this with his money and The one thing I would say about these cards is that they seem to suggest that he may be able to con his way out of serving time in jail, but he won't be able to save his marriage. And possibly his relationship with his children is over as well. Well, that's kind of depressing. What do you think? Yeah, not a fan of Ormus. I think it's pseudoscience. Oh wow, Joanne Maurer got called by the NRA and got harassed. Yeah, they're pretty far gone. All right, Melinda Warren. She has a question for us. What's going to happen in Florida with them passing that law that school officials can force children to show them their genitals to prove that they're male or female if they want to play sports? Is that true? I'm going to hold off on that until I got a fact check on that. Here's one that I do want to check. I want to check to see what the Chauvin verdict is going to be. Who here has a garden already? I got a garden in my patio. It's so cool. All right, Chauvin. What's going to be with Chauvin, the Ice King? I'm going to do I'll do a full card chart for him. I was surprised at how bad Putin's cards were. Putin's not going to have a good ending with those cards. That's terrible. Okay, Chauvin. It's over for him. You can see the death card there, and then the Nine of Cups walking away. This guy, his attitude, he's not the most optimistic person in the world. I gotta say. Here's his base cards. Look at that. Does he have a female judge or a male judge? There's this woman over him. Oh, there's the ethos. There's his decision. I think they're going to be ready in like 2-3 days, right? There's the courts. There's a woman here. Does he have he has a male judge. Does he have a female attorney? He's doing some serious, he's in a very serious retracted mode. Seven, I keep seeing 7 cups. They say there's 3 counts, but I see multiple counts. Where's that? What is around him? The experts, the hope and fear, the final outcome, the lovers. Really hard on the jury. This has been really hard on the jury. The problem that the jury is having is that some of them want to give him a strong conviction, but they're having moral problems with it because the way that the evidence was presented was such that, for example, they said it was justified, one of the experts, to put the, so you can see here the experts grappling with the experts, the stress. This is the jury. What you know in your heart you want to do versus what you can actually do based on the evidence presented. It's a really tough position to be in. And you can see Chauvin here, and then the Ace of Cups, which is a mercy card. The hopes and fears that he will be victorious. And then the final outcome is the Lover's card, and then the Star. I don't think he's going to get released from prison. I do think it will not be as long. I think the problem I'm seeing here is he's not getting enough time in prison because his cards, like the Star, the Lovers, those are cards that denote working with another, working on the side, receiving a blessing, the court's coming in, the fact that he's got an Ace of Cups here. If he gets a conviction, it's not going to be enough time. I mean, he basically it was like legal murder if he gets away with it. I'm concerned with these cards. I'll be quite honest with you. I want to do them all over again because I'm concerned. Look, it's not good if you've got an Eight of Cups, which could be walking away from what? The evidence, and then the Star. I want to do one more. Those cards have me a little nervous, I'll be honest. He's out on bail? Okay. See, I saw him being sent somewhere in the Northeast to a state, to some kind of prison in the Northeast, and I had a vision of him not getting along well with the other prisoners, and that he had to be in semi isolation because of it. Yeah, but you saw the eighth house. You saw how the jury was there. They know that. I wouldn't want to be a juror. I wouldn't want to be one of those jurors. Come on, Chauvin. What's going to happen to you? There's a part of him, he's saying that if it turns out that he's guilty, or he's contemplated committing suicide rather than going to prison. That also seems to be something that's coming up, that he would rather kill himself than go into the prison situation. Which is kind of how I felt Epstein was, kind of, you kill yourself, or he was not going to be protected in prison. You can see stress here again, and negotiations, temperance card, sobriety. Karma, not good for him because it means that there are consequences for his actions. And there's the verdict. Heartbreak. I think he's contemplating suicide rather than going to prison. The fact that there's a Knight of Wands is a travel card. Six of Cups. Look at this. The jury again. Four of Pentacles. Hopes and fears. Final outcome. Walking away from the sword. There it is. Ace of Pentacles again. Two of Swords for the jury. Not good. Hopes and fears. The strength. The final outcome. Moon. I think it's going to be difficult to get. I think he'll get convicted, but he may not get as many years as people had hoped. That's the best way to interpret it. Wow. it just made me realize the last 5 years that we can't put our head in the sand and just expect everybody to do the right thing. I mean, I think when Obama got in office, a lot of us thought, oh, great, we've got a good daddy. We don't have to be stressed out about that. We can go off and play now because daddy's taking care of everything. And it was kind of a naive way to look at things because I think we've all learned the last couple of years that you literally can never take your freedom for granted. All right, we have time for one more question. If anybody wants to close us out today with a fun question, that would be great. Oh, Douglas. Linda G said short sentence. I hope that's not true, but those cards didn't look like he was going to be suffering as much as that. Yeah, Jackie, do you want to have a slumber party? I don't know. I asked people, do you guys want to hang out tonight? Maybe get together? We can do a public. Everybody can join us. I don't know what y'all want to do, or is it redundant? Because you saw me today. If we hang out again tonight, I don't know. Maybe pick a night. Pick a night when you want to do a slumber party. I don't know. It's up to you folks. I just like hanging out with y'all. Thank you, Sharon. All right. This sounds like a nice thing to close with. Melissa Montgomery writes, what do we have to look forward to for the summer and the fall? Work. Work. I told you guys to take a vacation. I warned you. Now everybody's getting all irritated because it's so sunny and everybody's working and it's just hyper stimulating. And now people are getting, because, it's like waking a child that's asleep. You ever try to wake a child that's asleep, out like a light? Right? They just become a complete horror. It's terrible to wake them up. It's just like, God, I never want to go through that again. Right? So that's kind of where we're at. We're like little kids. We were like in a coma. Will this pandemic ever end? And it almost became like a trance state. People were drinking booze. The booze went up 33% because there's nothing else to do but drink and watch TV or read or whatever. Marijuana sales were very good for. It's nothing. I'll just meditate and do remote viewings, right? Well, now the feds are telling us it's time to go back to work. Come on, brush it off. There you go. Upsy daisy. Time to get back to work. Who here does not want to get back to work? I won't go on vacation. Oh, welcome back, Cheryl. We missed you too. You're going to bed at 9 p.m., Foggy? I might tape something. What I think I'm going to do is maybe tape something tonight. I don't know. Iron my clothes. Are you telling me that I should iron my clothes? This one you can't iron. It would melt. It's like a plastic fabric. It doesn't. All right. Let's look at the summer and fall for everybody. Let's do it, and then we'll close it out. Sound good? Tucked up at 8 p.m. Well, Alcohol cirrhosis? Oh, that's not good. All right, we'll see what we can come up with. See, I like to also wait a little longer so the people in Europe can join us. Okay, this year. Yeah, hi, Miss Brazil. Were you really Miss Brazil in 1955? That's pretty cool. Okay, so we have a moon card coming in, a lot of confusion. Still, see, that's what it's like. It's like we literally were hibernating for a really long time. That's how the energy feels. And then Five of Swords, it's like shaking us up. So people are grouchy. I was talking to Sheila, Celtic Tarot, and she was saying, "Why is everybody?" It's like because we were asleep. We were out of it, right? And then we had to kind of wake ourselves up and snap out of it. A lot of people are going to be working on their health. It's going to be a time where people are joining gyms in record numbers. People are out physically taking care. It's like the COVID pouch. See, I got a COVID pouch right here. This is all those delicious cookies I made and cakes. It was really out of control, to be honest with you. So we're healing. It's summer and fall is about healing. It's also about volunteering and helping people get on their feet. A lot of volunteer work, a lot of justice work. A lot of people are going to be doing meditating, spiritual work, where we're sitting, the world. A lot of people going back to school. Complete transformation of the economy starting this spring and summer too. It bounced back a lot better than people were worried. New relationships for some people too. A lot of romance for people. Smoother waters. That's nice. Hopes and fears, and then the final outcome, heartbreak. The only negative I would say here is that there's an indication here that we could see more deaths due to COVID or more deaths coming from these kinds of disasters, because you are these two together. Let me show you. The Four of Swords moving in, confusion and moon. I think a lot of this may have to do with the fact that families are still dealing with COVID. We have to also understand that there are hundreds of thousands of people who still have COVID and are still struggling to breathe, live, survive, and recover from COVID. So we're coming out of the woods, but if you look at this line of cards, we're still seeing heartbreak, struggle, etc. from COVID. With the Three of Swords coming in. The clarification, back at work, right? It's just work. Education, money, the green economy. Everyone's on board. Even China now is. China, if China won't be able to sell anything via Amazon if it's not compliant, you see? So they have no choice. We all have to be compliant because we signed the Paris Accord. So there you go. It's all work. It's all green economy. But I really do think we still have that moon card. Too much booze, too much sleep, too much medical marijuana, right? We're just like groggy. But you know what? It's good. Once we're awake and we're up and moving, it's a good energy. Yeah. All right. That was fun. Love and light to you all. We've been here for almost an hour and a half. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And yeah, I think that's everything. If you are taking HCRV, I think we will have another class. I'm thinking of doing it 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Sundays, or just or Tuesdays and Saturdays. Let me know what days work for you. And also, I need to start taping some more elders videos for people who are learning about the herbs. All right. Thanks, everyone. Blessings. We'll see you next time. Bye.